We've all had that moment in our relationship where we realize, oh my gosh, I messed up. And that is certainly one of the things that happened to one of the guys in my free community. And this making a mistake, whether it's a big one or a small one, seems to be something that I'm seeing kind of as a theme in my community. And it's not the mistake that's the problem. Well, then what is the problem? The problem that these guys are experiencing is that their wife is refusing to move forward or to forgive them. So one particular gentleman reached out and he was like, Monica, I don't know what to do here. She won't forgive me. And so let's go ahead and do a little bit more of the backstory. This guy who is married receives a text from a wrong number. Now, guys, if you ever have a woman who accidentally texts you from a wrong number, emails you, or slides into your direct messages on social media, this is never an accident. This is a common internet scam and is often aimed at guys who are in the 50 plus age range because they're just not as internet savvy as the younger generation. And this is an age range in which guys are well established financially, and many times they are lonely, even if they are married. So what happens is that a woman will contact you by accident, and then she'll start just a simple friendly conversation. Doesn't seem like a big deal, because it doesn't start sexually. There's nothing going on, at least in the beginning. He's just enjoying the engaged conversation with this pleasant young lady. The same way he would feel if he happened to run into a pleasant young lady that he was talking to in the grocery store. But of course, it doesn't stay this way. Slowly, things start getting a little bit more flirty. And this guy who oftentimes married starts feeling alive. He starts feeling all kinds of things that he hasn't felt for a long time. But then after a little bit, she'll say, I know I shouldn't feel this way. I know you're married, but I'm starting to develop some real feelings here. And the guy is going to feel the same way. And eventually gets to the point where they decide that, hey, it might be a good idea for them to meet. But there's always a problem. She needs money for a plane ticket, maybe even a hotel room. So what does he do? He sends her the money. But just in the moment she's about ready to board the airplane, something happens. She might say that the flight was canceled or that there is something wrong with her passport. But whatever the case is, she's unable to come. So she'll need more money to book a new flight and a new hotel. And so he does that again. And this continues however many more times it happens until the guy realizes that he's been scammed or he's completely tapped out of money. So fortunately for this gentleman, it never got to that point because his wife, after just a couple weeks, discovered these text messages and made him shut everything down. So after that point in time, there's been no further contact. It's been going on almost 6 months. And the wife is calling this an emotional affair, and she can't seem to get over it. And I do have another key point of information in this discussion because I think it's pertinent, which is that their marriage has been sexless for a while. So the sexless marriage has been going on for long before any of this happened. So this guy reaches out to me and he's like, Monica, I don't know what to do here. He's already unhappy with the fact that he's living in a sexless marriage. Now he has his wife who's super pissed off at him, saying that he has an emotional affair and she refuses to forgive him. What can he do? This situation is weighing very heavily on him. So before I give my opinion about the situation, please know that I'm doing so with the limited information that I have. There's probably more backstory I'm unaware of, which can affect what I'm about to say. But I'm going just off the information that I've been provided. So the first thing I told them was thank God your wife found these text messages because you were likely being set up to be scammed. She probably saved you some money. And it did appear that the proper steps were taken. He stopped the conversation. He admitted it was a dumb thing to do. I'm uncertain as to his level of asking for forgiveness, but the fact that this has been bothering him for months indicates to me that he has tried multiple times to no avail. Now, today's episode is sponsored by Cup Cozy Pillow. If you are lacking a cup holder just about anywhere, Cup Cozy Pillow has your back. Go ahead and use the link below. You'll see them listed up there. Also sold on Amazon or on our website, cupcozypillow.com. Also, I want to take a moment to let you know about my new community. It's free for the first 100 people. So I'm going to link that below. What we do is we take the information and the concepts and the ideas that we start the conversations here on YouTube, and we are able to really have more of a back and forth interaction. Sometimes you have things that you want to talk about that you're not comfortable just dropping in the comments. So go ahead and check out that new community. And also, did you know that 92% of my viewers are not subscribed? Are you friend zoning me? If we've had more than one interaction, I don't want to be in the friend zone. You guys know how that is. So go ahead and hit that like and that subscribe button, and let's start this relationship formally, okay? All right, now let's go ahead and move on. Now, while this behavior was certainly stupid, there's zero reason for a married man to have continually ongoing conversations with a person of the opposite sex. However, for the wife to claim that this was an emotional affair, when there was zero sexual or even flirty messaging happening, is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, if you think about it, you can have these exact types of conversations with AI. People do often all the time. They hop onto ChatGPT and they can have these same kind of friendly conversations. Many do. Many people are calling ChatGPT their new best friend. Heck, he could have even been talking to AI, to a bot. We don't know. We don't even know if this was an actual human. Anyway, I think that the biggest factor or red flag that I'm seeing on my end with this whole thing is that she is so steadfast in making him admit that this was an emotional affair. Why would she be so concerned with her husband having conversations with another woman when she clearly is not interested in him sexually anymore? She has already point blank stated to him that she is never interested in having sex with him again. Well, I believe it's because she actually does know how important that sex is to him, and she does have a little internal guilt for knowing that she's not doing something that she should be. He has tried many times to get her on board with this, and she has always had different excuses as to why she's not interested. But if she can get him to admit that this was an emotional affair, isn't this the ultimate excuse for her to not ever have to have sex with him again? Because she just can't get over it. And I don't blame him for not wanting to admit to doing something that he didn't do. This topic of admitting to things that you didn't do is a little bit of a sore spot for me personally, because when I was young, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there, our cat went missing for a little bit, 2-3 days. Well, one day I opened up my dresser drawer, there's the cat. And the only theory I could think of at that time was that the drawer had been opened, and, you know, it creates that little space in the back where the cat can kind of like, I think the cat went down the level below of an open drawer, if that makes any sense. So I'm super excited that I found the cat. I scooped the cat up, bringing the cat out to the living room to show my parents, hey, I found the cat. And instead of getting the praise and the accolades, so they not only didn't give me my praise and accolades, my stepdad told me that if I didn't admit to putting the cat in the dresser drawer, that I was going to get spanked. So here I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Of course, I don't want to get spanked. So I had to lie about the situation. And I remember even being at that young age that I thought to myself, I am never going to admit to something that I didn't do. So even at that young age, I felt so wronged in having to do that. So I don't see any benefit of this gentleman placating to her insistence on him calling it an emotional affair, because it's not going to make it better either way. She just wants to use what happened as a weapon. Because think about it, if he calls it an emotional affair, she has that ultimate excuse to never have sex again. And if he doesn't call it an emotional affair, then she has that ultimate, well, you're not truly sorry because you can't even admit to what you did. She doesn't want to solve this problem. She wants him to suffer. Because here's the truth. She's totally at peace in this situation. She, in this moment, has the upper hand. This is a power position for her. Now, there is a chance I'm wrong about this, that she really does want to forgive him, that she really does feel that this was an emotional affair. And by him not using those specific words, she feels he's not taking the necessary responsibility for his actions. Because why would a woman forgive a man who can't even admit what he did? I personally don't have a problem fessing up to the things that I do wrong, the things that I mess up on. But I refuse to fess up for things that I didn't do, things that I'm accused of doing that never happened. In fact, one of the biggest arguments Michael and I had ever had to do with this specific thing. So we were going on a trip in the RV. So not only do you have to just get yourself ready, and you got to actually get like the RV itself ready to travel. So we were packing up and Michael asked me, hey, what did you do with the LED lights that I bought? And I was like, well, what are you talking about? And he's like, I bought some LED lights for the RV. And I told him, I don't know. I wasn't even aware you purchased LED lights and I haven't seen the package. But he's insisting that I must have seen it because I had to have been the one moved it because he left it right there on the table. Now, over the years, I have been known to throw things away. I'm quite a minimalist. I don't like to have a lot of stuff, so I get great joy in it and getting rid of things. But when I do, I'm very aware of what I'm throwing out. But he would not let it go. Now, at this point, I'm starting to get pissed because I'm getting triggered back from when I was a youth, being accused of doing something that I didn't do. And it doesn't help that it's super late. It was getting close to midnight, and we're all stressed trying to get ready for the next day where we have to roll out early. And it finally gets to the point where I'm so pissed off about this situation. I was like, that's it. We are going to the trash and we are going to pull out every single thing so I can prove to you that I did not throw this away. So we go out, flashlight in hand, we put some disposable gloves on, and we just start ripping into the bags. You know, it stinks. There's old decaying food. There's juices of who knows what in there. It's just nasty. So we get to the very last trash bag. And you know what? I didn't throw them out, just like I said. So did the dude apologize? No, he did not. He did not apologize, but he kind of let it go. So the whereabouts of the LED replacement lights remained a mystery until the next day, where I found them in the RV in a cupboard. And when I take the bag, I was like, found your lights. And he's like, oh, well, where'd you find them? When I told him, he's like, oh, yeah, I remember putting them there. So things at this point were a bit more calm, but I told him, don't ever accuse me of throwing something away again. So you can ask if I threw something away, or you can ask if I've seen something, but do not make that assumption that I threw something away, because I'm not going to be made guilty for something that I didn't do. So there you go, guys. If you ever want to trigger me, now you know how. So when you're in a relationship and there's a lot of conflict going on, it doesn't even have to be like big conflict. It could be like small things, but that's really stressful on your body. It's uncomfortable. You're walking on eggshells. So if a woman can go for months, sleeping in the guest room, sleeping like a baby, and makes no apparent effort on her side to seek solutions and move towards the path of forgiveness, then we know it's not him who's the problem. We know it's her. She doesn't want to forgive him of this emotional affair because it's the ultimate excuse to never have sex with her husband again. Her over-the-top reaction to this thing is almost laughable. She doesn't have a leg to stand on when she has not been sleeping with her husband for years. I can see this type of reaction if he actually had a physical affair. So when you as the husband or you as the wife refuse to make the effort to move forward, instead opt to continue to use this incident as a method and mode of punishment, it is now you who is wrong. It is now you who is creating and making a new offense. Now, I'm not saying that there's not egregious mistakes out there, like actual adultery, where it's going to take months, if not years, to rebuild trust. But if a person decides to stay in the marriage, then they also have the obligation to move with good faith effort forward to reestablishing that trust as well. They have to show up in the process of the restoration just as much as the person who committed the offense. So what would I tell this guy? What would I advise for him to do? Well, I would tell him this. You are responsible only for your side. If you have asked for forgiveness, if you have admitted and stopped the offending behavior, and you have truly course corrected and shown yourself to be truly sorry, and your actions have been congruent with a repentant heart, then that's all you can do. And if they can't forgive, that's their decision. But if they are of the mindset where forgiveness just isn't possible for them, then they do have the obligation to end the marriage. Because leaving the other person in a perpetual state of unforgiveness where there's no potential for resolution or restoration is unacceptable. Marriage just requires a ton of humility and grace. We are all human and we're all going to make mistakes. We must do our best to forgive. But often forgiveness is not the path we want to take. Usually our egos can't handle it. Our egos are something that we're going to have to consciously override in this path towards forgiveness. We forget that we're not perfect, but we often think that we are, and we get all self-righteous about it. How dare they do this to me? Most of the time, we don't want to forgive. Most of the time, we just want the person to pay for what they did to us. So what does this unforgiveness look like in marriage? Well, it often looks like the silent treatment. It looks like sleeping in the guest room. It looks like withholding of sex. It looks like emasculation. It looks like disrespect. All of this serves one and one purpose only, and that is to make you pay for your mistake. So I'm going to ask this question to the gentleman who is in this particular situation. Why are you the only one concerned with making this right? Why is she able to even sleep at night? Because I know if it was me, I couldn't. I could not in any shape or manner go for months on end living in the chaos of the unknown. The thing is, I don't think that she wants to forgive. I think she likes the position she's in. So I would recommend a couple different options here. The first thing is to tell her to stop playing her games and to get her ass back in bed, because she's going to continue playing this game. It's what it is to her. She's in a power position. She likes it. She's not just going to willingly hand this back over to you. And if she's not willing to do that, you tell her that if forgiveness is not possible on her end, you understand that she will need to file a divorce, because you're not going to live this way. Her gig is up. If she chooses not to forgive you, that's on her. There's nothing more you can do. Give her the ultimatum of shit or get off the pot. Either come back to bed, move on from this, or move on from our marriage. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments. And make sure you stick around to watch this next video, which YouTube seems to think you're going to really love. And with that, I'll see you next time.